Forestry Land Scotland are running a trial until the end of this year to allow campervans and motorhomes to stay overnight at one of their car parks. There's 27 car parks participating in this. We're going to review 3 of these in this video. Mike here. If you're new to our channel, this is my wife Trish. She's not always that laid back. Our dog Kira.
Good catch.
And this is Maggie, our wee brown van. If you ever fancied staying in a Scottish forest in your campervan or motorhome, now's your chance, because Forestry and Land Scotland are running a trial at 27 of their forest car parks that allows you to do just that, stay overnight at one of these car parks in your campervan or your motorhome. Full details of the scheme are on the website. I've just picked out a few. You can only stay for one night within a 48-hour period. The car parks are free unless there's a parking ticket machine, in which case you need to buy a day ticket, which costs £3 at the moment. You need to be off the site by 10 o'clock in the morning. You need to use your own toilet facilities, and absolutely no campfires or barbecues. Goes without saying, it's a forest car park after all. We're going to try 3 of these sites. We'll also be having some day trips, so we'll show you these too. I better get a move on. Trish is already packing the camper van. If I don't move, I'll be in trouble. That's us on the road, and the first car park, the first forest car park that we're going to be staying at tonight is called Watch Hope. Now that's down in the Scottish borders. So we're heading there now, but actually we're not going to go straight to the car park. We're going to have a bit of a day out first. So we're going for a nice walk that starts in St Boswell's, and it's a circular walk taking in a bit of history. We've arrived at St Boswell's for the start of this walk. Great start, I have to say.
And downhill, which is great.
It is, isn't it? Now the thing about these forest car parks, of course, is some of them can be quite a bit out of the way, and in some of them there might not be a great deal to do. So that being the case, the thing is, have a good day out, go somewhere and do something, and then go back at night. When it's time for your tea, get settled in for the night at the forest car park. And that's what we're doing on this particular occasion. Careful on this little bridge. So I think this walk is going to be a cracker. The walk is taking us along the River Tweed, and shortly we'll be coming to a suspension bridge which crosses over the river, and then it's up to our first feature on this walk, the Temple of Muses. Just as you come over the suspension bridge, you can see the Temple of Muses on the top of the hill. The Temple of Muses was built in 1817 by the 11th Earl of Buchan, and it was a tribute to his favourite poet James Thomson. Originally, this would have contained a statue of Apollo, but that disappeared many years ago and was replaced by a more modern sculpture. These elaborate gates were also erected by the 11th Earl of Buchan in memory of his parents. The path now taking us up to this huge memorial statue of William Wallace. Dates back to 1814, and it was also commissioned by the 11th Earl of Buchan. Must have had a few quid. This is a huge statue, stands at 31 feet, and it would originally have been painted.
Steep climb.
so puffed out, so unfit. However, we're just getting Wallace Monument coming into view.
There he is behind me. Trish is already up there, so I'll go and catch up. Hailed as a Scottish hero, of course, for defeating the English at the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297. We're leaving William Wallace behind now to stand back out on the hill, and we're heading on with the walk. It takes us down to Dryborough Abbey, established in 1150. It's closed due to COVID, but we can have a peek over the wall. Well, we fairly enjoyed that walk. Back in the van now, and we're just coming up to Watch Hope Forest Car Park. Here it comes.
A quick look at the sign.
Yeah, you've got to laugh at that, haven't you? Hell's Hole. God, we don't half pick 'em. Right. Let's see what it's like. I'll let you see it. We've obviously got the van in there already. Now, a few potholes and things on the road. I mean, I suppose you'd expect this, a forestry car park. You can imagine the forestry equipment coming in here, chop down trees and things. So a few potholes, but actually, other than that, it looks really good. And we're not the first ones here, so there's a larger motorhome here already. And that's where we're parked up. And that's it, it's a forest car park. Have a little walk over here. There's a couple of signs. And the first sign is really just telling us all about this particular site, the Hell's Hole Watch Hope Forest. There's a couple of trails that you can do, Johnny's Trail and the Cauldron Trail. So two interesting walks that you can do from right here. Look out for these things, red squirrels, buzzards, foxes. I think they have red kites as well. And then there's another sign over here, just confirmation that you can stay the night here in your motorhome or your camper van. There you go, just some of the rules around that. And this particular car park is no charge, so you can stay here for free. Well, Trish has just been putting on the internal screens. We're going to use these rather than the external rainbow screens on the van, because we think that's just a little bit safer, you know, if we're wild camping, and we'll probably take the pop top down as well. But that's it for today. Tomorrow morning we'll be up. You need to be off the site for 10 o'clock, so we'll be up before 10, packed up, and we'll be heading off to the next forest car park, or maybe somewhere else first, but that's all tomorrow. It's morning here at Watch Hope Forest Park, and we found out why it's called Hell's Hole. Just over here on the notice board, what we noticed was that according to local knowledge, the name Hell's Hole referred to a deep and dangerous pool that used to be located here in the Catley Burn. It did have us wondering for a little while, but now we know. But we had a great night last night here at the Forest Car Park. We sat beside the van and we had some nice chilli. It was made with that corn mince, so Trish was able to tuck into that as well, and it was really good. We had a good night's sleep, really dark by 9 o'clock, so it was. This morning there was a little bit of disruption. There was two large logging lorries came in, swung round the car park and went up the hill, made a little bit of noise, but that only lasted for maybe 2-3 minutes, so really not a problem at all. We're back on the road and we're heading to Lockerbie. We've came to pay our respects at the Lockerbie Memorial Garden. because it was here on the 21st of December 1988. A terrorist bomb exploded on board Pan Am Flight 103, which is a Boeing 747 en route from London to New York. All 243 passengers and 16 crew members on board the flight died, as were 11 people on the ground here in Lockerbie. Well, after Lockerbie, we jumped back in the Weybroon van and we decided to head for Dumfries. But Dumfries was a complete and utter washout. So back in the van again, and we decided to just hot foot it for our next forest location. And we're here, just north of Dumfries. This car park is called A Naze. Here it is. And once again they're displaying this stay the night poster, which is good. It gives you that confirmation that it's eligible for you to stay the night. And in this car park you've got to pay, but it's only £3. You just need to buy a ticket for the full day and that allows you to stay the night. Just note that it's coins only, so do bring some pound coins with you. This is the first area when you come in. And then there's a further area at the bottom that just loops round. A few potholes, as you can see, but they're not too deep. And it comes round and the road just loops round, so there's parking on either side and really quite a lot of room for motorhomes and camper vans. We've decided to park round the back. And that's our little setup there. Once again we've got the wind out awning out, which gives us a little bit of shelter from this rain that has just been absolutely relentless today. This is the view from the back of the van. I'm just so glad that we've got this canopy. It gives us that little bit of extra living space. But you can see here that the size of these bays is really quite large, and it would take a big motorhome, no problem. There's an information point. This site is designated a 7 Stains site, which means that it's for mountain biking, and there's a number of these around Scotland. There's all kinds of information here about mountain biking and the various different walking trails that you can do around A. I've just stepped into the camper to get out of that rain. It's absolutely chucking it down out there. You know, we're really not experienced wild campers at all. In fact, I still consider ourselves to be novices at it. But we have been inspired by one of our favourite YouTube channels, Life is Too Short. Ken and Carol are currently touring Ireland in their little red camper. And in episode 12, just like us, they get caught in the rain.
In the last video, you saw us stuck in this large puddle. It was getting deep pretty fast, so I didn't bother to take the time to drop the roof. So I just drove very slowly across a flooded car park, looking for a spot of higher ground.
But things seemed to work out okay for them in the end.
The next morning we awoke to a beautiful rainbow. It's clearly raining over there, but it's dry here at the van.
I'm hoping that things will brighten up for us too, but looking at that sky, it's not looking too promising. I can't wait forever. I'll need to take Kira for a walk and we'll check out a bit of that woodland trail, so I'll let you see a little bit of that. This is becoming an all too familiar shot now, videos. We're out on the road again.
Sunshine!
Yeah, sunshine at last. It was chucking it down all night, so it was on the wee brown van. But this morning we were up, had a bit of a long lie, I must confess. We're up about 8 o'clock. Took Kira out for a walk along the trail. Managed to find a little bridge with a river and a lovely seating area. I just wished that we had a bit more time to spend back at that forest car park. But it's time to move on, and I've had a breakfast, some nice bacon and eggs this morning sitting outside the van. I think I must have filled that campsite with the smell of sizzling bacon. It was terrific. And today we're going to move on to another forest car park. We're heading west. This one's called Clattering Shaws. No day excursions this time, we're going straight there because there's a number of walks there that we want to do. We're nearly there, but I think we've taken a wrong turning. Some of these tracks around here, they're not signposted very well, and we've ended up going up into the hills a little bit. We stopped and asked a couple of guys and they said, well, we've taken the scenic route. So like I say, we're nearly there. Just a little bit of an extended detour. It wasn't really expected. We got here, we're at Clattering Shaws. Bit of a detour. But wow, have a look at the loch. It's quite an elevated view here. So lovely scenery over the loch and over the hills. There's also a ticket machine here, so this is another fee paying one, but it's only £3, it's not going to break the bank, is it? There's plenty of parking, I would say, for around 10 motorhomes. That's allowing for 4 metres apart, in line with the guidelines. There's also a chemical disposal point. Clattering Shaws is in Galloway Forest Park and offers fantastic walking and a great little cafe for a tea, coffee or a sandwich. Well, that was nice. We've just had lunch at the little visitor centre.
Yep.
Had a couple of toasties and some cakes.
Cake was yummy.
Yeah, so it's great here. There's lots of things around about. Clattering Shaws Loch is just behind us. There's also some picnic benches there if you want to have a picnic outside. And we're off for a walk now on this little trail to find a spot where apparently Robert the Bruce had a sleep. In 1306, Robert the Bruce seized the empty throne of Scotland, but then he was immediately defeated in 1307 by the English and went into hiding. And apparently this is one of the places that he came to rest his head, right here. Well, that's the end of our walk. I would say if you're thinking about staying in one of these forest car parks, maybe as part of a tour of Scotland, then make sure you check the website for the most recent up-to-date information before you leave. And don't forget your walking boots, your weatherproof gear, your umbrella, oh, and your midgie cream.
Definitely a midgie cream. And also, if you're thinking about it, make sure you've got a contingency, because we were speaking to one of the Forestry Commission guys and they were saying how busy it is getting. So have a contingency, but they are really good sites.
Yeah, absolutely. I would thoroughly recommend it. So, until the next one.
Bye!
Ta-da!
Bye, Kira!
Bye, Kira. Oh, okay.